All right, welcome back. Happy New Month, guys.
Happy New Month.
Happy New Month.
Happy New Month, John.
Happy New Month,
We are,
John. Happy New
we are
Month,
back
Chad.
for episode 4. We have a guest today.
Liberty, liberty, liberty.
Today we are talking about Juju and black magic. Is that a song, Black Magic?
There's a few songs. Santana has a song, Black Magic Woman.
I don't know why. I didn't think of that until I just said it. I was like, hey, wait a minute. There's a song out there.
That could be like
should
the
play
intro.
The intro, Black Magic. No, there's got to be copyright things there. So take it away, John, and sing it for us. No.
Got a black magic woman. Dun, 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 dun.
One of the things when we're talking to these scammers online, and we are all of us, I have gone viral in said country 234 multiple times, and I am right now. They start threatening me with this black magic. So that's where it's kind of come up. And if you've seen any of the documentaries, they talk about black magic on there as well and how they use it. So I had to, before we started, I had to Google, like, what is the definition we're looking at here? And it was like, our definition: the spiritual belief system incorporating objects and spells in religious practice. And then they gave some examples, like amulets. And the only thing, like, that's a fancy word, amulet? When do you ever hear of amulets?
In the movies.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Do they have
These
amulets?
movies.
Yeah.
I shouldn't laugh, but amulet sounds fancy, or like old fashioned or something. But amulets was in there. It talked about blood sacrifices. But when I have, like, in the documentaries, basically they will go to, like, this witch. I don't even know what they call them, and they will go to somebody with the picture of the person, and then they will pay them to, like, cast the spell so they get money out of them. And what I have continued to ask the scammers online, because they keep telling me they're gonna get me with this black magic, they're gonna get me with Juju, they're gonna get me with Avion or whatever. I'm like, well, why are you preying on poor, mentally challenged, elderly who are mentally declining? Why are you preying on those people, and why aren't you going after Elon Musk or rich people or the people that actually probably, could? Like, you're all mad at our government all the time. We'll go after our government officials. Why are you not going after them? And I've gone back and forth because basically their rules keep changing. Like,
Yeah.
we need your picture. Okay, you have your picture. We need to have, like, an actual conversation with you going. Okay, cool. Then I start, like, chatting with someone. Well, we need your address. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Now you can start, like, sending me things to my address. And you can Google and find my address. That's been done. Then I've gotten, we need your mother's name. I'm like, why do you need all this information about me? Why does this keep changing? Somebody did
tell
send
me what
me.
your mother's name is.
What was your first pet's name? Where'd you go to elementary school?
Yeah, it's like those security questions.
Exactly.
That's what we need. Why don't you just tell me? That made me lose my train of thought. That's funny.
Probably went to the 84th Street. That's where I always go with Jerry.
Hello, and welcome to Movie Phone. If you know the name of the movie you'd like to see, press 1.
Come on.
Using your touch-tone keypad, please enter the first 3 letters of the movie title now. You've selected Agent Zero. If that's correct, press 1.
What?
You've selected Brown-Eyed Girl. If this is correct, press 1. Why don't you just tell me the name of the movie you selected?
Thank you for calling Movie Phone. Using your telephone's touchpad keyboard.
Oh, this is what I was starting to say. I was sent a video by someone too on TikTok. I can probably go find it. I don't think I've sent it to either of you, where it's by a Nigerian. He is talking about the different types of juju. Like I can't remember, it was like 6 different types, and he explains the differences in this video. So there's like different, and they're like regional, or so there's like
It's
different
like slang.
types. So when I'm talking to somebody too, and then there's one that's like, well, yeah, that weak type of juju can't, but I all I need is a picture. I'm like, okay, well then do it. I feel after all these years, somebody has paid money on me at this point. It has to have happened.
Definitely.
And for all of them to say, oh, you haven't had it happen yet, or you would have paid. No, it has to have.
I've been getting a lot of them lately taunting me with juju and saying, oh, you're lucky, you're lucky I'm not the one that's you're talking to, because you would have paid by now. The juju and the Evian would have gotten you. You would have sold your house and sent me the money. I've had a lot of those statements
Sold
lately.
your house.
That's what
I
they
get
say.
I get a lot of this. I get a lot of the you would have sold your house by now if it was me. Like,
They're in real estate all of a sudden.
no,
Yeah.
I would not have. I that's absolutely ridiculous. Now I mean I do want to say as a spiritual person, as a Christian, I mean I believe in a spiritual world. I believe in that there is Satan, that there are demons. I do believe like voodoo and that thing could be something that's manipulated, but like I don't believe that I can be attacked by that. And I've had them say, well, you have to believe in it for it to, well, okay, that's a whole different thing too. Like, so what? You have to, this is where I'm interested to talk to somebody from there, because they all claim to have stories of things they've seen. And this is where I don't want to doubt things they've seen and experienced. However, I don't believe that the things that they have experienced spiritually over there can transcend to us in the United States. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that old grandma is giving them money because of juju. I just don't buy that.
No,
right.
and
it's because of the scam, the gullibility based on, or what they're doing. They wouldn't go through the elaborate stories that they do if it was if the power of the juju was the thing doing it.
And Chad, like you were saying, the spirituality of the juju, fear works wonders in every aspect of life, and they don't tell their client that they're putting juju on them, so that they believe it, and their fear of juju is what feeds into it, and I think that affects them as someone who is deeply involved with juju. You know what I'm saying? Like the fear that someone is doing this to them feeds into it, and where we know that it can't hurt us, and we're not afraid of it.
Right. Yeah, I would agree with that too. And then also, if you believe it and you know that it's happened too, and this is where I'd like to talk to somebody. I would like to know stories that they're talking about, because like I feel like some of it can be like, if you believe it and you see certain things that happen, you might attribute that to juju. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's part of what you're saying. Like, you already have that mentality, and so you might attribute it to it. I don't doubt that they've seen some weird things either, and that's where I'd like to hear those stories. So anyway,
It's not a lie if you believe it. Yeah, it would be interesting to hear the stories, though. Examples, or what somebody we talked to has heard or seen firsthand. That I think that would be fascinating.
we get it all the time on TikTok. We get the threat, and this is where I want to know some differences too, because I've heard like when they talk about soap, there was a long time where I'm hearing about soap, and I'm like, well, what in the world? Well, they have this like this special soap that they will also put some, and that's where the objects come in, and then they will wash or whatever with that soap. So there's some different things that they're doing as well, and I just like to know the different levels or whatever's going on with that. But there's soap, Evian. Is that just another term for what it is? I don't
Do they
know.
like infiltrate soap and like give people soap, or like, and then if you wash with that, that's an issue? Am I understanding? It sounds like a Joker scheme, like in a Batman movie. Like he puts it in all the soap and everybody's like,
Go with
Yeah.
the smile.
that's what I'm picturing. Like, is that what you mean, or that like they do it to themselves? It makes them more powerful.
I think they do it to themselves. They don't actually
Okay.
mail anybody the soap.
That was the way I was understanding it, that they do it to themselves.
Okay.
And I made a video that was kind of a joke video making light of the soap because somebody left a comment on one of my videos where I was talking about Juju, and they mentioned the soap that they're going to get it. And I made a video of me in the shower with the funny bar soap. Hey, somebody sent me this soap. I'm just washing up.
I got to see that. I missed that. That's awesome.
Well, today we have joining us from Nigeria, Liberty. And Liberty, we wanted to talk to you about Juju and black magic and the soap that we hear about or get threats with, or Evian, like any information, stories or things that you want to share with us that you personally have seen or experienced, or what like what can you, because we're from another country and we don't have experience or hear anything really about Juju other than what you guys say to us online. So what exactly is the Juju?
Well, Juju is just essentially black magic. The truth is that it doesn't work on everybody, but sometimes it's something you have to be careful with. In this part of the world, especially this part of Africa, there are many forms of spiritism, many forms of spirituality, and spells can easily be casted on anyone, and charms are easily done. So in this part of Africa, especially in Africa in general, Juju is something that is very, very serious. You don't just take it lightly. You don't just take it with levity. You have to be very careful with it. Someone can use Juju to manipulate any situation for his own benefit or to ruin others. That's just it's a form of worship, essentially. It's just a form of worship. So, and some people do it to better themselves, but a huge percentage of people do it to hurt others.
Can anybody like learn how to do it?
You learning how to do it is something that everybody can learn how to serve a Juju oracle. Maybe you can meet a Juju priest, can learn how to do it, but most times it usually goes in the family, or the only thing you can do is charms. The only thing that I know you can easily learn how to do, or someone can do it for you, is charms. But serving Juju, it has to go through the family. It's something that goes through a lineage.
So if a scammer is threatening to use Juju on somebody, on their client, what is the typical amount of money that they would pay a priest to cast a spell on somebody?
It depends. It depends on the level of knowledge of the priest. In spiritism, or let's say spirituality, there are hierarchy. There are people who are more. How do I put it? Do I say divinated? Is it divination? There are people who are more in tuned with their worship. Oh, let's say there's a priest now. He has paid more sacrifice. He has done more, either blood sacrifice or any form of sacrifice, and he's more into it. You can't compare that kind of person with somebody that is just starting. So it depends on who the particular fraudster meets to do the spell for him, and it depends on what the person is charging. There's no specific amount that the priest will charge the fraudster. It
So
depends.
like any other
Another thing is that,
occupation.
it also depends on results or recommendation from the past fraudsters that the priest has done juju spell for.
So a more successful priest would ask for more money versus someone
Yes.
who may not have results or may not have a track record.
Yes.
What kind of, like, have you seen firsthand the effects of something like this?
Yeah, I've seen the effects. I've even seen it in my family before. I've seen there are different type of spell. There are some people that just want to be wicked to you. I've seen a lot of effect of juju spell. But one thing juju works with most is fear. Juju works with fear. If you are a kind of person that is always very afraid, hey, they are going to cast a spell on me. Oh, what should I do? That's one of the avenue it enters you. Fear is, but if you are someone with a strong heart, it's I don't believe it will affect you, but most times it comes with fear.
So as far as what you've seen, like with your family, like what specifically, or not necessarily with your family, what specifically things have you seen that would harm somebody? Like what are they doing to harm them? Is it like financial? Is it physical?
Most times, some people they just run mad. You see them on the streets picking paper. They are no longer normal. Sometimes most people die from it. Sometimes most people can never achieve anything successful. They will walk and walk and walk and walk. There's no success around them. Sometimes, if it's affecting a family, the family, maybe members of the family will not cross a certain age. They will always die in that age. Like I used to have a friend then. On his mother's side, they don't go above 55 years old. All the family members always die before or at 55 years old. So the way they had to stop it was they had to go and look for another juju priest to break the spell that has been casted on the family. So that was the only way they had to stop that spell. So that's why I say most times it goes with lineage from father to son, from son to son, from another son to another son. So most times it runs in the family, but there's always an oracle.
So when they talk about like the soap, is that just that's the thing that
The soap is essentially a charm. It's not that it's just a special kind of soap. Is the soap, maybe the priest can tell the froster to buy a soap, then he takes the bar of soap, or maybe it might be a native soap or maybe other soap product. He takes it to the priest, then the priest does some incantation on the soap, then tells him you bathe with this soap for 7 days or 7 nights. Then whatever you are talking to your clients, anything you tell him, he'll start doing it, or he or she will start doing it. It's not that the soap is a special kind of soap or anything like that.
a spell has been cast on the soap.
Yes, a spell is being casted
Okay.
on the soap. Most times they do blood sacrifice. Some people, it's even in the extent that human sacrifices can be done.
I just always wonder too when they threaten me with these kind of tactics. I just shrug it off and tell them, please, like from Africa all the way here. Again, it's something we don't believe in here or have experience with. So I've engaged with a couple of them that said they were gonna do it, and then they told me, well, they needed to talk to me personally, so I started talking with them, and then they needed my address, my mother's name. They needed all this information about me, and it kept changing. And then there's somebody else I talked to that says, no, we don't need all that. So again, I'm assuming that has to do with how good the priest may be on what things they may need. I just wonder how well it's working on people here in America that don't know, like that are clients that don't know that it's being used on them.
Like I said, it depends on the level of the priest. Most priests are too, how do I put it? Most priests are too into it that they've got some kind of power. They can invoke anybody, they can call anybody spirits, they can control anybody through their spirits. Most times, the way they have access to your spirits is fear.
So if they're using Juju on a client, but the client doesn't know about it, where does the fear come in? Because they're not threatening their client with fear. So why would the client fear Juju if they're not telling them that they're using Juju on them?
Most times, it's not even the juju that is even working on the clients. It's just that the client is just being gullible. The client is not making research. How can someone be telling you about a business? You have not traveled to the country to see the business. You haven't done any research on the business. You haven't done any research on the person chatting with you. You are just paying, transferring money, transferring gift card. Most times it's not even the juju that is working on the client. Most times I'm just saying most of these clients, some of them are just being ignorant.
Okay, I think we're on the same page with that one.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's not even the juju that is working on the client. It's just being sometimes, should I say, stupid or being ignorant? Because even here in Nigeria, they also scam some Nigerians. Nigerians also scam Nigerians. I'll tell you, Nigeria is a country of almost 230 million people. You can, by 230 million, not everybody will be street smart. So it's not even the juju most times. It's just that people are just gullible. Somebody will just tell you anything, you just believe the person, you start transferring your hard-earned money to the person.
And I think with the romance scams, again, it's the loneliness and the longing to have someone that loves them, and they think that they met someone online that is going to be with them forever, and they'll just send them whatever money they ask for because they want that person to be real.
Yes. That's one way. Loneliness, the loneliness especially, they capitalize on that loneliness, or they capitalize on that old age, because most time they usually target advanced age people. So they capitalize on old age. Then maybe they know that people are usually shy or shameful of telling others how they fell victim to a scam artist. So they'll keep it to themselves. They will continue being scammed.
Because they don't want to believe it's a scam.
Yes. They don't want to believe this. Even my father has been scammed before.
Like, we've shown people evidence. Look, here's the person that you think you're talking to. They're an adult star. They're not really there. But yeah, look, here's my chat with them.
It's the reality of the whole thing is that it's difficult for a victim to come to realize that he or she is being scammed. It's very, very difficult to realize. No matter how you try to convince them, or no matter the evidence you show to them that they are being conned, they are being scammed, they won't believe you, they won't agree.
Yeah, we've both come across people like that, so we're unfortunately we've seen that, and I've heard too, and I think you have, John, as well, that Nigerians scam Nigerians just as much as they do any other country. So to me, it's always funny when they try to say, well, this is payback for what you whites have stolen from us, because you're doing the same thing to your own people.
Right.
Look, let me tell you something. In Nigeria, currently in Nigeria, about 30 to 40% of foreign exchange that comes into Nigeria is through scam. It's through scam. Scam is huge here in Nigeria. But, well, the main problem is that Nigeria is designed to be a failed state. Nigeria has all the wealth. Is it gold? We have it. Is it diamond? We have it. Is it lithium? Every form of resources you can look for, we have it. But the design of the country is not a design that is going to succeed. That's just it. So the only way for most of these boys, I know it's not an excuse for them, but most of them, they see fraud as the other fastest way to make money, of which fraud is not even one of the fastest ways to make money. but they just see fraud as one way to make money.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that so many of the youth feel like that's the best option that they have. I have one more question, and John, if you have any more questions, the word Evian is posted on my videos a lot. What is that? How does that tie in? Is that just another word that means the same thing?
Evian is a palace. Evian is a palace in Benin City. Evian Palace is kind of a should I say a branch of the monarchy system in Benin City, Edo State. Evian is a palace. It's just Evian is the real Evian is a palace, but Evian is also a slang for Juju.
I thought
So
I thought maybe it was a god or a
no,
form
it's not
of
a god.
god. It's not.
Not a
Okay.
god.
So a lot of the scammers that have confessed to me that they are in fact Nigerian scammers. Their main reason, besides for the excuse of they're paying back the white people, their other excuse is there's no jobs to be had in Nigeria that are legitimate, and this is their only way that they can make money. What do you have to? What is your thoughts on that?
Well, currently now, Nigeria is the unemployment rate in Nigeria is very, very high. You have to be very, very creative for you to even make ends meet in Nigeria. Most times, even the minimum wage in Nigeria now for government workers is not even up to $100 a month, the minimum wage. So Nigeria is job deficient currently now. So the youth are really suffering. I won't lie, the youth are really suffering in this country. Even when you are not even a scammer and you are making money, maybe you are a freelancer, you do remote job, you will still be frustrated with the police.
So the corruption with the government is another issue.
Yeah. Yes, the government steals money. If you are always constant with Nigerian Twitter, there's no month that will go by you won't hear of so and so $1 billion missing, so and so billion naira missing, so and so billion. In fact, the stories you'll get tired of the stories.
Liberty, are you currently in Nigeria?
Yeah, yes, sir.
You okay? I know because I know I've met a few of them that have gotten out and have moved to Canada and a few other countries. Are you actively trying to get out of Nigeria, or that's your home and that's where you're going to stay?
Yeah, I'm actively trying to get out of Nigeria, but I haven't got the money to move out. Yes, every youth in Nigeria wants to leave Nigeria. It's just unfortunate that most of them, even when they leave Nigeria, they don't try to stop defrauding people. There are many Nigerian fraudsters that are also living in the US because most of them provide those account number that they use to transfer those money down to Nigeria, or they'll convert the money to cryptocurrencies and send it down to Nigeria, or they use it to buy one particular type of goods. Maybe somebody in the US now that have defrauded somebody will buy, like, let's say, flat screen plasma TVs, put it in a container, ship it down to Nigeria, they sell it here and they make their money back. So there are many ways to move money out of the US, out of the UK, out of Canada.
Can I ask what you do for a living?
Yeah, I'm a real estate agent.
Well, there you go. John, are you looking to buy land?
No, no.
Going back to the Juju thing, the truth is that it doesn't work. It will only work on you when you are fearful. Maybe when they threaten you with the Juju and you are fearful, then you think it might work, because I've seen it work. I won't deny that. I've seen it work multiple times. But casting a spell from Nigeria here down to the US, I think that's a waste of spell. I don't know. Maybe the spell is being casted through fiber optic cable or through the air. I don't know, but but I doubt you can cast a spell on somebody from here down to the US and make the person start misbehaving, start sending his or her money around, anyhow to a fraudster. But I don't think the main thing is that they are gullible and they don't think fast. I once stood with a guy in my former neighborhood. He scammed a Russian woman. I was standing with him. I was listening to him. He doesn't even know how to speak Russian language, and the woman was madly in love. He was scamming her. He doesn't know how to speak. If the woman sends a message to him, they will copy the message, go to Google Translate, translate the message, type his own message in English, translate it to Russian, paste it on the message box and send. I was like, wow, are people this dumb? How can somebody you've not met before be falling in love with you?
Really appreciate the time that you spent with us and answering our questions and talking about it freely.
Yeah, thank you so much. I do want to do a quick would you rather.
I love those.
This is not even like scammer related. This is just from TikTok. If you have been on the site of TikTok, and I have more thoughts on this because I have seen so many videos on TikTok about this now. Would you and I don't know if either of you have seen this, but would you rather be in like alone in the woods with a bear or with a man?
Yeah, I know. That's a common one.
Now, so on TikTok, it's like, would you rather, like, would a woman rather be stuck in the woods with a bear or a man? And then it's like for fathers, they're like, would you rather your daughter be stuck in the woods with a bear or a man? I am going to reframe it because this is how I want to reframe this because I've been thinking about this. You personally, forget the woman part of it. You personally, would you rather be in the woods with a bear or a man?
So is the man like a crazy man or just a regular man?
Well,
that's all it's framed.
That's all. That's all it's framed.
A bear's nature is to attack. Where if I was stuck in the woods with either of you, I wouldn't mind. We would go hiking or
choose us.
Take a walk or just talk. So it depends on the man.
You're right. And that's this is where this comes down to. This conversation is basically like women are choosing the bear because they can predict how the bear's going to act, and you can't predict how a man's going to act, and it's more of a wild card, and they're scared of men and blah. I feel like the whole thing is framed to just be a ridiculous. It's a ridiculous comparison to make a point.
Right.
However, the more I've thought about this, I was like, well, would I rather? I'm like. You see a bear, and there's almost like intrigue. Like let's say there's like a black bear up in the trees. There's also almost like an intrigue, and like, oh, let's try to go the other way. But if like I'm just hanging out in the woods, and there's like a man like just staring at me or something off in the distance, or some I just see some guy like hanging out in the woods, not saying anything, I'd be a little creeped out by that too, because if I go, is he going to follow me? Is he going to come back at night? Like, I guess you could make the same assumptions of the bear, but I feel like in general, the bear's not going to be like stalking you like that man might be. I don't know if
the man might have a weapon. Bears aren't.
I don't know anything about this man. Why is he in the woods alone? I've got questions about the man being in the woods alone.
But why are you in the woods alone?
I don't know. I got lost. I was hiking.
Right, he could
I got
be feeling
lost.
that about you.
Maybe he is. Maybe he's just as afraid of me as I am of him.
Exactly.
But the more I thought about this, I'm like, what the type of, because the question, I've seen people ask the question, what kind of man, or just any kind of man. But there's a certain type of man that's going to be out in the woods alone. Is he hunting? I mean, it could be a hunter, and then maybe he thinks I'm a deer and he accidentally shoots me. I don't know. Or maybe he's just a creepy man walking around in the woods.
Maybe he escaped prison. Maybe he's just a hiker. He likes to hike.
Anyway, whatever. I just thought those are my 2 cents on it.
So I just think
it's this hyperbolic. I think it's this hyperbolic thing just to make a point that men are scary.
Chad, did you notice with the Juju and how it's all about fear, and the person has to fear him, has to be afraid of Juju. If they're not mentioning it to their clients, and I said this to him, and he kind of double talked. How is Juju still controlling people if it works on fear and they don't know it's happening? Because a lot of them will say, the Juju is making them give the money. But he couldn't really answer that.
Yeah, he seemed to agree that it was a waste of money and a waste of spell to try to to do it to somebody in America. So I think that was one spot. I think we were on the same page. I was hoping to get some good, like, detailed stories from him, but it seems more there was thing about people working and working and working and not having success, or just kind of like almost seemed like going crazy or whatnot. But again, it seems like that. Well, and the fear thing plays off the fear, and then just having that kind of anxiety that something was placed on them. But yeah, it was interesting, and I'm gonna have to look up Evian now. He said it was a palace, right?
It was
a god. I thought it was like a. Oh, I think that's Ogon.
Yeah.
Is their god of
Ogun.
thunder? Ogun, right? Or
I think it's Ogun.
it's basically Thor of the Nigerians.
Nigerian Thor. I like that.
That's going to be our next comic strip, Nigerian Thor.
Nigerian Thor, Ogun. Yes. Thanks, everybody, for listening, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Take it easy, Chad.
Happy New Month.
We should have like a dance outro.